Good morning, my YouTube family. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today we got log. All right, we're working up to a max log for the Arnold, so I just need more practice. As you can tell, I just kind of woke up, heated my breakfast up, made my lunch, which actually is going to be the same thing, which is going to be, it's chuck roast, potatoes, carrots, celery, and then just kind of throw that into the pressure cooker for 2 hours, let that kind of come into a mush, and actually tastes pretty dang good. So because of that, I just made more, and then I'll probably have that for the next 2 or 3 days, along with some other meals. Like I'll have chicken and rice, and I have a couple steaks too that I'll probably want to get eaten, and then sometimes too I'll go out pick up some fast food, usually after training, just because it's easy and convenient. So I'm going to get started eating on this, then I'll see you guys at the gym for the log training session, and yeah, let's get it.
What?
My hand off.
All right, part one of the workout is done. Now, my girlfriend said, she's like, oh, you should do a vlog style kind of thing. She likes watching people who do like the workout vlogs. And I don't mind casually watching them. So she's like, oh, film like a day in the life of tank strength. So that's a pretty good idea. The problem is, this day particularly that I decided to film is not a normal day in the life. So last night, my whole schedule got kind of screwed up a little bit with my visiting family down in South Carolina. My family goes to bed pretty late. And what I had been doing was going to bed around maybe about 11 o'clock. Typically 11 to 11:30, I would hit the hay. But, you know, with New Year's, Christmas, all this stuff, I ended up going to bed around, 1. New Year's Day, I went to bed around 2. And your circadian rhythm is totally thrown off when you're, even if it's like going to bed like 45 to an hour later than usual, your circadian rhythm changes. And obviously it's very easy to just kind of stay up a little later and get up a little later. It's not as easy to go to bed earlier and get up earlier on a dime like that. So last night I felt pretty tired. I had a lot of chamomile tea. I was like, oh, it's like 9:30. I'm kind of tired. I'm going to try to go to bed. And it didn't work out. It was really dodgy. I kept getting up, take a piss, everything like that. I didn't really fall asleep. I woke up, I was like hot as hell. And then I eventually just got up at like 6:30, which I have not gotten up that early in a long time. Normally, my normal wake up time is probably really 8 to 8:30. I prioritize getting my sleep in. I need to get good sleep. That made a huge difference in my recovery and my aches and pains and my performance. But last night, I only got probably a good of consistent sleep. I probably only got about maybe 6.5 hours in. But I woke up at 6:30. I was like, well, I can probably half lay here in bed for another 30 minutes, maybe fall asleep and then get up groggy. Or I could just get up and start working out. And that's what I decided to do. So I got up. I had, as you guys saw, I had that meal already prepared from a day or two ago. So I just warmed that guy up, ate that dude. It had a salty drink, so I have like those electrolytes. You guys might know LMNT. The electrolyte mix I use is called Relight. It's pretty good. It's just cheaper. It's cheaper than LMNT. It's a scoop from a tub you can put in. So it's a little bit cheaper. So that's kind of what I decided to do. Decided to get. Had that. Drank technically 4 shots of espresso. And hit the gym. And felt pretty good. Honestly, super, super, super happy with today's performance. Super happy. The log press, I've not hit 330. Well, that was 337. And the heaviest I've ever gone before that was like last week, which was like 324. And I hit 337 for almost a double. My limiting factor, don't want to be idiot here. My limiting factor on the log press is just the technique. It's just technique. And my program was RPE 789. And, when I'm in it, I'm like, let's go. Like I hit 327 for like almost a 2. So I got the first one real easy and the second one was almost there. And then I was like, I could probably do 337. I tried it once. I was like, it was just off. So I hit it again and I got that second rep clean. So I was very, very happy with that. On the flip side, I tell myself it's like, I'm happy I'm progressing in the weight. But on the flip side, I'm like, I can do better with my technique. I was talking to one of my athletes who also compete in Strongman. He said he was watching a ton of videos on Mitchell Hooper. And Mitchell Hooper, when he presses, it's like he's pushing himself down. He pushes his back away, and he's able to get in that locked-in position. And I noticed that too. I noticed that too from athletes like Hooper and some of these bigger these bigger guys, even Iron BB and Eddie Hole, when they're pressing, they're leaning back a lot. Iron BB is a perfect example. He leans back a lot. Now, these guys are big boys. Someone like, Iron BB, he's a big, big boy. So it doesn't look that extreme, his lean back. But if you kind of took away all some of that fat mass, he would look like he's like doing an incline bench, like Hooper does. And I have to be honest with you guys, I also did that for my national competition. So when I hit the 315 log, it went up super smooth because I wasn't thinking of it, but my body just naturally kind of pushed myself back as I went into the lockout for that log press. So that's one thing I need to work on. The second thing I need to work on is my leg drive. I'm talking to my coach, and frankly, I'm just not explosive enough with the dip and drive out of my legs. I can be more aggressive there. It's getting better week after week, but I can be more aggressive. I could also be practicing maybe a slight power jerk. So that's when you push it up and then you kind of squat slightly under it as you lock out. And again, those things, in order for me to get that technique down, I do need to be practicing at a lighter weight, probably around 70 to 80% of my 1 rep max, which I guess right now is 330, is where I should be really practicing this technique from. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. So I'll talk to my coach about it, and we'll keep planning it out. And then I had the close grip bench, which also felt muy bien. Programmed was for 60 pounds worth of chains, and I had been doing that, but now I'm back home. I don't have access to the chains, so now I use the bands. And I thought it was about 60 pounds of tension on the band, but probably more realistically was about 30 pounds of tension. But I'm still happy I hit 485 with band tension. So first off, I've never close grip 485 before. And I've definitely never close grip 485 with 30 pounds of band tension on top of that, putting it at 515 at lockout at the top. Which tells me my arms are pretty strong. I have some strong arms. Which tells me two things. One, all the dips I've been doing for a very long time, all the dipping I've been doing has been paying off tremendously. Heavy dips will build your triceps in a nice compound fashion. That's one. It also tells me, two, that the raw strength is there, and it just relies on, it ends up being the technique is the issue. The technique. Which tells you another thing. The other thing that tells you is that because my technique is not nearly as efficient as it could be, going up to those kind of heavy weights week after week is not as fatiguing or tiring as it would be for someone who's very proficient in their technique, right? Like, I couldn't go up to an RP9 week after week on a competition style bench press. It ain't gonna happen. I would freaking tire myself because my body is so well adjusted to benching. But because my body is not very well adjusted to, one, overhead pressing, and two, that technique of like a push press, of a log press or axle press, it might not be the greatest idea in the world to be constantly touching RP9s, but it's not going to be the worst thing in the world either. Again, that decision needs to be made between the athlete and the coach. It's not the worst decision either, because again, I'm not very proficient at that. So, and then after that, again, like I said, this is not typical because normally I complete the full workout in one go, but today is Armenian Christmas. And so my girlfriend is Armenian. I was baptized as a Catholic. Armenians is Orthodox, and they celebrate Christmas and Easter at different times. So we're gonna go to the Armenian church, check that out. Then after that, I'll probably end up going to the YMCA near my house, finish out my workout, and then get to it for the rest of the stuff I got to go. Hopefully I can get this video out either later today or tomorrow. but yeah. And then the biggest thing now is just food. Food. Let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you something right here, right now. If you want to get bigger and stronger, you got the three horsemen. You got training, sleeping, and food. Now, each of those sections you can dive in and get in greater detail about what you need to do. Obviously, your training needs to have progressive overload. Your training you shouldn't probably be hitting, your technique needs to be good. You shouldn't be being stupid with your training. But if we zoom out, it's training. What determines good training? Effort. Good effort. So every time you go and train, you need to have good effort. Even if it's like, let's say you're doing an RP7, it doesn't mean you just casually hit an RP7. You put 110% effort into each of those reps, but when you're 3 reps shy, you stop. That's what good effort looks like, even with quote unquote lighter weights. All right, sleep. We can look into sleep. We can look at sleep quality, sleep quantity, timing. We can look at all of these details that really determines great sleep. It's important. But if we zoom out and we focus on the big overall concept, am I getting enough sleep? Oh yeah, I go to bed at like 9 o'clock, but then I stay on my phone until 10:30. So I'm laying in bed, but I'm only in bed for an hour and a half. I'm in bed awake for an hour and a half. And then, oh yeah, I have to get up at 5. So you're not actually getting 8 hours of sleep from 9 to 5. You're getting, 6.5 by the time you fall asleep. And is your sleep, could that sleep even be that good? Maybe you get up a couple times and piss, because I drink a lot of water throughout the day. I'm always peeing. So we have to think, at least with sleep, is, are you sleeping relatively through the night? Do you feel well rested when you wake up after a good night's sleep? Boom. That's the big overall sleep thing. And the nutrition. We can break down the macros. We can get, this special beetroot, it raises my nitrogen into my blood oxygen levels. Therefore, I'm able to push a little bit harder. Yes. All right, sure. You can really break it down. But if we zoom out, am I getting enough calories and enough protein from quality sources? So what does that mean? It means, if you go out, eat a burger and fries and a soda, and you're a relatively lean, athletic person, it's not going to be the end of the world. But most of the time, you should be eating pretty simple foods. And enough of those foods in order to get appropriate amount of calories, putting you in an anabolic state, and enough protein so you actually build that muscle. So it's actually it might not be the easiest thing in the world, but it's quite simple, You hear a lot of these guys, I just can't build muscle. I can't, especially these, I have a lot of college kids that go to my gym, and they'll come and ask me questions, and they're like, oh, I want to take MK667 or something like that. Or, what do you think about, I'm like, first off, dude, I've never taken it, so I'm not the person to ask. And secondly, you've been training for 3 years. I've been training for more than 10 years now. I've dealt with injuries. I've had major successes. I continually get stronger week after week, month after month, year after year. And I'm still natural. I still don't even feel like I've really gotten close to my natural ceiling yet, if you believe in a ceiling. I don't even feel like I've maxed out what I could do naturally yet. So, I shouldn't say that, maxed out, because that infers that there's a ceiling. I don't feel like I have optimized my natty status yet. So because of that, I just don't, I don't entertain that. So then I'm looking at them, I'm like, all right, dude, you don't eat enough. You drink every weekend. You don't get any good sleep. And your workouts, they might be intense, but your form isn't that great. And, are you optimizing, like we just talked about, for those big 3 simple things? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And then the last thing too, and this is easy coming from a guy who, I realize this is easy because I have not always felt this way. And it's easy coming from a guy who's pretty good at something. Am I the best in the world? Not yet. I am, but I have yet to prove it. Stop giving a shit about what other people think of you. In a weird way, you can't be doing that. It's a narcissistic activity where you feel like you're so special that people are thinking about you. Their day is focused around you and what you think and all this stuff. You cannot focus on what other people are thinking about you. At some point, if you really take this stuff seriously, you have to identify the goal and then identify the behaviors and activities that help you get to that goal. And other things can be scratched out and thrown away. That's just it. Like, I have some of these athletes, they do not have the strongest mental mindset, which is okay. And we've been working on it. We've seen progression there. So that's a good thing. If you're progressing, that's great. But at some point you have to sit down and be like, okay, what's bothering me? Whatever it is. Let's say it's let's say you're like really into school and you didn't get you didn't hand in the assignment, you got an F on the assignment, and all you do is obsess about this one thing, this one mistake you made, and all you do is sit there and obsess. That's not helping you. Again, kind of narcissistic. You think you're all that great that you can't ever fail. And so you're just sitting there and obsessing over the damn thing. When in reality, you have to say, all right, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What were the circumstances? All right, well, I probably shouldn't have waited to study or waited to do it the night before. Boom, identify the problem, don't do it again. There it is. Or if you end up doing it again, realize that I put myself in this situation. It is what it is. You can't get too obsessive and emotional about things. You have to be a bit more logical. Whatever. Going on a rant here for 20 minutes. Anyway, guys, I'll show you the rest of my meals. I'll show you the rest of the day-to-day on this vlog. Hope you enjoy it so far. Let's get it. All right, headed off to do part 2 of my workout today. So again, normally on a normal training day, I get this all done in one go, but I need to leave, get my church in. So part 2 coming up here. Physique-wise, I ain't looking too shabby. About a few months ago, back in September, measured my arms, unpumped. I think they were like 19 inches. And then pumped up, it was like 20 and a half. At least my right arm was. My left arm's probably about a half an inch smaller. So super, super hyped on that, especially because a couple years ago, I measured my arms in at about 19 inches pumped. So I've put on probably about, I would say I probably put on about 1 inch on my arms over the past couple years, and I have not gained any significant amount of body weight over the past couple years. So that means I'm putting on muscle, losing a little bit of body fat, getting bigger and stronger by the day. All right, part 2, here we go. All right, so here's the dealio. The gym I typically train at, Power Build, is 23 to 30 minutes away. And then the other gym I was considering training at, the local Y, is still about 15 minutes away. And then I realized I can do everything I need to do with the equipment I have in my basement. Which I'm actually excited to do because I actually like training. I like training at home. I like training by myself. And frankly, this is a pretty grunge gym. I mean, this is pretty dope. So a lot of my equipment's kind of taken down, stored away. I'm just going to be able to kind of jimmy rig a couple things together and get to work. First things first, partial flies. So we're just doing the bottom little range of motion here with 35 pounds. Let's get it. Good stretch. 165 on the bar right now. So last week I got 175 for 3, but that third rep for the strict curl, my butt came off the wall. So technically it didn't count. So it'd be 175 for 2, competition standards. I got 165 on. The bar has a greater bend to it, similar to the bend in competition. I used this bar to prep for my strict curl competition, and it transferred over very, very nicely. Now, as far as the strict curl itself, we are doing a ton right now. We got, obviously, the Strongman preparation competition. So I'm training sandbags, I'm training the log, I'm training even like a heavy deadlift and carry. You know, it puts some strain over CNS, total CNS fatigue, and then also just on your arms in general. On top of that, I got, I'm still pushing pretty high volume, 4 sets of 8 on competition standard chin-ups for street lifting. And then I'm doing a sternum pull-ups, or as high as I can get the pull-up, 10 sets of 10. And I just did that a couple days ago. And then I have cable curls a couple days, and we have the strict curl itself. All in all, what I'm saying is I'm working the biceps pretty dang tough right now, pretty dang hard. So what does that mean? It means that I'm not too upset about where my numbers with the strict curl is. My best all-time strict curl was 220. My all-time triple, I believe, was like 190 to 195. And now I'm kind of struggling with, you know, that 175, 185 range with reps I've done before. But given the overall fatigue and everything I'm doing with my training, and the strict curl not being the main focus right now with my training, I'm not too upset. Especially because I'm still pushing hard, I'm still curling some major weight here. So enough talk, nothing to it but to do it. Fighting a nice little section on the wall for my head here. Yes. 165 for 5. Here we go. Not too shabba-labba ding-dong. I think we got 175. Time to eat, baby. All right, I just realized I never filmed an outro for this video, so here it is. Overall, very, very happy with the training that day. Felt pretty good, felt really good actually. Log press hit a PR there, even though it's just a single, that's still technically a PR, and I almost got it for a double. And I was very happy I was able to kind of makeshift the rest of the things I needed in my home gym downstairs in the basement. So very, very happy there too. All right. If you guys are interested in the type of training I do, please go visit tankstrengthcoaching.com. If you're interested in coaching, you can reach out through my website, or you can email me directly at tankstrengthcoaching@gmail.com. And let's talk. Let's get you guys where you want to be, your fitness goals of this new year, 2025. I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very, very good year. All right, let's get it.